All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a system that claims to just completely shatter the normal limits of email marketing. And we're not talking about just sending emails. We're talking about sending millions of them a day and actually having them land right in the inbox. So, let's break down how they pull it off.
I mean, seriously, think about that for a second. For most people in marketing, that sounds like a pipe dream, right? To hit send on a massive campaign and have confidence, real confidence, that it's not just going to disappear into the spam folder abyss? Well, we're about to explore how a group of experts say they've made this an everyday reality.
So here's the game plan. First, we're going to touch on the big problem, the dilemma every email marketer knows all too well. Then, we'll meet the folks who say they've got it all figured out. We'll get into their core belief system, the tech they use, the mind-blowing results, and, stick around for this, the secret weapon that really holds it all together.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about the pain. Because if you've ever tried to send emails at any kind of scale, you know the frustration is, well, it's very real. It feels like you're constantly fighting an uphill battle.
Does any of this ring a bell? You're shelling out a ton of cash, but your emails still get sucked into the spam folder. Your open rates get totally crushed because somebody else on your shared server is sending junk. And you're stuck trying to duct tape together like 5 different expensive tools just to run a simple funnel. It's a mess, and it costs a fortune.
So, who are the people who claim to have cracked this code? Well, they're a group of senders who operate on a level that's kind of hard to wrap your head around. And listen, this isn't just some flashy title they made up. We are talking about people who have the receipts. They have the real-world proof of sending massive email volumes and getting incredible results, not just once, but month in and month out. And that word right there, consistently, that's the key. This isn't about some one-off blast. As one of the experts, Chris, says, this is just their baseline. For them, 1 million emails a month, that's just another Tuesday. But then they decided to see just how far they could push it. Another one of the experts, Doug, went from 1 million a month to 1 million a day. And then, just to see if it could be done, he fired off 2.4 million emails in a single 24-hour window. That is an absolutely staggering scale of communication.
So how in the world did they do it? Look, before we get into the tech and the software, you have to understand the core idea that makes everything else possible. It all boils down to one simple, powerful word: reputation.
And this right here is the night and day difference. On most email platforms, you're just renting space. You're sharing an IP. So if some other person on there sends out spam, guess what? Everyone gets punished. Your reputation is completely at the mercy of the worst actor in the group. With this system, though, you get your own server, your own IPs. The bottom line is your reputation is 100% in your hands.
And this is so important to understand. This is not a tool for spammers. It's not some magic push-button solution. It actually takes time, about 30 days or so, to properly warm up your sending infrastructure and build that critical trust with the big players like Google and Microsoft. It's a system for serious, legitimate business owners who get that a good reputation is everything.
Okay, so now that we get the philosophy, let's pop the hood. Let's take a look at the actual technology that's built on that foundation of reputation and control.
The very first thing that happens when you upload a list is, honestly, a total game changer. The system has email verification built right in. It automatically finds and scrubs out all the bad emails, the dead ones, the invalid ones, before you even send a single thing. This protects your brand new reputation from the get-go and, saves you a ton of money on sending to addresses that were just going to bounce anyway.
And remember that whole problem of juggling a bunch of different tools? Yeah, this system gets rid of that. It's an all-in-one platform. You can build landing pages, create opt-in forms, set up your entire sales funnel, all inside this one system. You can basically cancel your subscriptions to all those other expensive services.
And here's where you can really see the savings. Let's talk dollars and cents. Chris shared this comparison with a service called Mailgun. At 1 million emails a month, the base sending cost is already way cheaper. But the real kicker is that verification step we just talked about. Other services charge you extra for that, a lot extra. Here, it's just included. That adds up to thousands of dollars in savings easy. Okay, so you've got control, you've got the tools, you're saving a boatload of money. So what? What does this actually do for your business? Well, this is where you start to see the incredible power of sending at scale. Check out this number, 97%. That's the inbox placement rate a client hit after just 3 months of building up their reputation on the system. I mean, think about that. Almost every single email they sent was landing in the primary inbox. That is almost unheard of.
And when you get deliverability like that, you get engagement like this. Your typical cold email campaign, you're lucky if you get a 1 or 2% open rate. But Chris says his cold emails are consistently getting between 8 and 14% opens. That is a massive, massive difference.
So what does that engagement look like in the real world? Well, in one case, a client of theirs went from getting less than 200 visitors to their website a day to consistently getting over 1,000, and some days as many as 4,000 visitors. And that traffic was coming purely from their emails.
And this right here, this is the bottom line. Chris breaks down the simple math on his 2.4 million cents. He says even if he gets a tiny 1% conversion rate and only makes a single dollar of profit on each sale, that's still $24,000 a month in profit. That's what economy of scale actually looks like.
Now we've come to the final piece of the puzzle. And it's not about software or servers. It's something that you just don't see anywhere else, and it might just be the most powerful part of this whole thing. Their secret weapon is community.
It's just wild. Imagine buying a piece of software and then getting to hop on a call with the founder and the lead developer every single day to ask questions and strategize. That's what happens here. Like Doug says, it's not just a user forum. These people have become friends, all helping each other win. You're not just buying a tool, you're basically joining a mastermind of experts.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. In today's world, your sending reputation isn't just some techie metric, it is your business's reputation. It's your trust score with the entire internet. So the question we'll leave you with is this: who do you want holding that? Some giant, faceless company where you're just one of a million users? Or you,